we'll start. And does it work?
No.
Try it again?
Yeah.
Wow, welcome. So this is a nice intimate group, which is... I thought, Derek and I are doing some little group. So my name is Dominic Scaffidi and Derek.
Hello everyone, I'm Derrick Mason.
I was so thrilled when I saw that I'd be working with Derek. Derek and I hadn't met, but I certainly knew of him and really was in awe and respect of Derek for the time that I knew of him. So when I saw that we were here and partnered up together, I thought, this is wonderful. And then our topic, the missing link. So we would love to, have some understanding, and we'll maybe open with a little bit, but it would be nice to interact. There's something that brought you to a breakout session about the missing link, or with that title to it, the missing link. And Derek and I chatted this before.
5 minutes before.
Yeah, we were over there and we're like, so what are we going to talk about? So we chatted and we were like, well, yeah, what brings people to a talk or to a session called the missing link? There's something. And so then we started to think about, well, what about us? What is it about us that means? And I mean, that's a big deal. That term, that statement, it's a really big deal for Syd. I mean, that book, which we could say is his Bible. And why do I say that? Because every other writing, all his other writing is in stories. Every other title, every other book that he left behind is a story, right? And the missing link was different. The missing link is written in a very different way. And this isn't about a book, but it's this idea he used about that. And when you think about it, it's the link. Why is it called the link? Syd spoke about spiritual, formless energy, that there's that reality, and then there is the form, which is the physical, the more material. And he spoke about the missing link as he spoke about a link between the two. And what is powerful in that is that there's no division between these. And in fact, later, and I would find it interesting because if you listen to him or whatever in his talks, and he'd talk about so deeply, he would get into the formless nature, this energy, the energy of all things. And then he'd talk about form and all that. And then he'd go, yeah, but there really isn't either of those. I'm just like following into, yeah, but that's not really there. It's the allness. So it was whether in form or formless, and he spoke about that as a link. So I think there's something that is so powerful about that in his teaching, and the fact that he pointed it as thought. The way that energy comes into form is first by a thought. So a feeling, an energy that then appears as thought, there is the first form, we could say. It begins to form as a thought, which then somehow we have to look and later explore, how does this thought become a thing? Because we're a little different than the way a thought would be. But so there's something fascinating in that exploration. I'll just maybe leave it at that as a starting point. Derek.
Thank you for that, Dominic. And yeah, like Dominic said, we wanted to make it a bit of an interactive session where we find out why so few of you came on the title of The Missing Link. And like when I saw the title, I was thinking myself, is it the missing link in the book? Is it the missing link that I've been searching for? Is it the missing link that we're all looking for? And I saw it as the missing link, what Syd talks about, or how I see it, is that missing link between a formless, just like what Dominic was talking about, and that spiritual part, because we're in a physical reality and everything is deemed by physical world. I grew up thinking it was 95% physical and everything else that went on, that was just 5% in the background. And then since I've got this understanding, I've sort of had more faith in that formless spiritual side, and having trust in that, it sort of covers the spiritual, it covers the physical side. And growing up, I thought the more energy, the more things I'd done, the more I would get done. But then when you see the missing link or the connection between the two, because we live in a world where it's like a duality, where we think there's a spiritual and then there's a physical. And in that gap is where we can get lost. And that gap, and we think, oh, we're looking for that missing link that's in the middle, it's the gap. But then when we see it, they were connected. It's all one. And to know, even though I've been looking into quantum and other stuff as well, to know that even the way we're built up, our physical is made up of many formless. And the formless and the physical are just so intrinsically linked together. And like I said, when we think that there's a difference, that's when we can get caught up. When we think we have to be doing something, I have to be showing up a certain way. And it speaks so much to what Mark Howard was talking about this morning, about we are just mind. We are nothing else, just pure mind. Can't say we're pure mind plus we're the physical. No, the pure mind covers that on every aspect. And getting lost in the physical is where I've been caught up so many times. But since I've got this understanding and I sort of see that the formless nature of me is what gave me my insight. And like Dominic said, it was a thought that just came to me. I didn't make it up, I didn't think it. And where did that thought come from? But that thought was a part of me. And then that thought changed my physical, changed my outlook. And I didn't have to try. I used to think, a lot of the things what I have to do, I have to try and put effort into it. So much things are falling away from me just because I'm tuned into that formless space. I'm not looking for the gap, the differences, or what separates. Just looking for what unites and what's the same. And I sort of see that the more I follow my feeling, that formless feeling in me, it takes me to exactly where I need to be physically. Because even coming here, Monday, I didn't even know if I was going to make it here. I got a dog, I got other issues, and it's like, oh my God, dreading sending the email to Sheila saying, oh, you know, I can't make it this year, you know. And just that feeling just said, whoa, it didn't. But then I know, do you know what? Instead of running around and trying to do all this, I can trust in that universe. I can trust in that gap that I think exists, isn't there. And then when I just relax, somehow everything worked out. Someone told me they could look after my dog, everything else got sorted out. Then I find myself here in Viva with you lovely people, just expressing what I've seen about the missing link. And when we're there looking for something that isn't really there, we can tune into what is there. And what is there is this wholeness that we all have. And when we tune into it and slow down, what appeared important 5 minutes ago, even 5 seconds ago, just doesn't seem so important again. And that's that formless energy that we can talk about, that we can look at, and the non-duality that we tune into. I know that one covers everything, so take care of that part and everything else is sorted. And for me, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that looks like, and that's scary plus exciting. But it's beautiful, because I know it's coming from me. And sometimes I get in low spots and I think, oh, again, I shouldn't be here because I know too much and I know this and I know that. But no, it's because I know what I know is why I'm there. And I can appreciate that. I just hope that resonates with you guys as to what we're saying about the missing link. So I'm going to put out the questions of what brought so few of you here?
I've been looking for that missing link for a long time, and I still haven't found it. That's why it's missing, right? Can you succinctly, dagnabbit, tell me what is the missing link, please? English! Words! Not feeling! Please! I paid a lot of money to find that frickin' link!
And I think that's the whole point of it. We do so much things, we spend money, we spend energy looking for that missing link. But it's about settling into that space to know that the missing link is with us already. There is no missing link. It's just, so it's what I found out, that the thing that I've been searching for all my life, and I was looking outside for it and think I found it, then it wasn't it, then gone somewhere else and thought it was it. There was nothing out there for me. What I had was in me all the time. And when I look back and see it and can feel it, like I said, and even say the missing link is, there's no missing link, because I can feel whole and complete, but I don't know where I'm going. And that's the missing part. Just follow that part and it will take you to exactly where you need to be. And just searching for something that we think we know what it looks like, or we think we know what it sounds like. When you get there, you just know that you're there and you don't really know how you got there. Does that make sense?
Well, all that is true. I believe all that. I still don't know what the missing link is.
And again, I have to find the missing link, the link for myself, and then how I articulate it is how I see it, and other people will see it how they see it, and it might sound totally different to you, or look totally different to you, but I can tell you this, when you find it and you articulate it, somebody will be able to resonate with it.
Right.
Yeah? Okay. But don't look too hard, it will find you.
Dominic, can we hear your opinion?
It's, you know, I think what it is about that, it's as Derrick said, it's not missing, because there is no difference in this energy in formless and form. But I think, you know, what was unique about what Syd expressed or articulated was that through so many years, people would talk about spirituality, God, through religion, through various ways. Some is literally spiritual, but they would talk about that separate from talking about you. And this was, you know, when Syd said, but it's all one. It's one thing. There isn't two things. There's one thing there. And, you know, I'm guessing he's like, well, how come everyone missed it? Like, why was it, why are they thinking there were two things there? And his, you know, part of it in his insight was, oh, there's this link between the two. And so it isn't missing. And the reason I say it's not missing is because there's never a moment in time that you do not have thought. Even when Syd would talk about a quiet mind, and you hear this in the community all the time, a quiet mind, a space of no thought. But you'll listen to Syd in other talks. He said, yeah, there's never a moment in time that you don't have thought. So missing link is not missing, because there's never a moment in time that you don't have thought. That also, because those energies of mind, consciousness, and thought are also not separate. That was another one, right? You'd say, oh, formless and form and all that, but there's none of that. It's really the allness, right? And then he goes, yeah, and then there's this mind, consciousness, and thought. Well, there's not really that. I'm like, Syd, trying to follow you here. I'm talking about one thing, right? So every time I guess he couldn't really talk unless he talked about some things, right? But so that could be, Patricia, why the issue is to say, okay, so what is it? What was he pointing to, and why is it missing? And if it is missing, how do I get that? So that's the thing, is it's not missing. When he said it, it's what's been missing. It's been missing from these conversations, from the spiritual conversations, what's been missing is this link between. So you're not missing anything. No one ever was. But it has been missing in the conversation, in this exploration. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Sorry, can I-
Yes.
Can I just try and...
Maybe speak it so we can have it recorded.
Hi. Are you saying then that, or is Syd saying that that everything is purely energy, if you want to call it that, and that everything we see around us and everything we think are just different expressions of one single thing, allness, energy? Is that what we're saying? And that whatever we want... Hold your horses, Derrick. Hold your horses. They're too long. So, this guy can move. In my own experience, if I could share that, so I'm a writer, and I had an insight the other day. When I was a freelance copywriter, I produced my best work when I was really tired, and I never understood why, but now I do. And the reason I produced my best work when I was tired, because I didn't have the energy to think. And what came out was just good stuff. Now, in the last few months, poems have been tumbling out of me. Whole poems when I'm really, really tired and I'm not thinking. So I'm not forcing it, I'm not trying, they're just coming. And that for me is beautiful. So, yeah. Hope that helped.
Yeah, do you know what? I love that, what you just shared, because I've sort of seen that in my journey as well. And to me, it sort of drops out of the intellect of what we think we should be doing. And then, again, we feel a bit tired, we drop our guard, and then something just comes through us. And when we just allow it to express and be, then we can look and think, oh, can I do that? Where did that come from? My intellect never had any grip of that.
Yeah.
And I had a webinar the other day, and I just fell into this formless space, and I was just talking away. My intellect was way on the train, sent to the country. As soon as I finished the call, the intellect jumped in, and he said, well, I had nothing to do with that, that was rubbish. You know, you must have been talking all over the place, and like, that was rubbish. And I was like, oh my God, I messed up. So then I have to do the editing of it. When I'm doing the editing of it, it was linear, it was in form, it was the right topics, followed the right topics. I thought, why the hell did that? My intellect never had no part of that. And I realised, okay, I had this idea that my intellect had to have some control over it and some sort of, but when we sort of just let it go and let it pass through us, but what we're capable of in that formless space without the intellect or anything, that energy, that free-flowing energy, because the energy comes through us, our intellect gets hold of it, and mine used to manipulate it a bit as to what you guys want. But then when I just let it flow as to what is to be expressed, I find that is what you guys want, if you're open to hearing and seeing it. And I think that's just a beautiful thing about the formless nature of all things. And when we can get into that space, we start to see the connection with people, with animals. I told you I got a dog 3 years ago. I hated, not hated, strong word. I didn't like dogs. Yeah? I would have judgmental thinking about people with dogs. And now I've got a dog, and I love my dog, and I look and I see other dogs. And that's me dropping out my intellectual thinking and seeing the connection that I can have with absolutely everything. When I drop out of that space, and the realms it takes me is an amazing place. It's an amazing place. And just to come back on something what the lady said, what Dominic spoke to, it sort of showed me something, and I don't even know if it sits right, but it is on my head, so I'm going to say it. There was a guy called Confucius, an old Japanese, Chinese, and he said something saying, in this life, we have 2 lives. But the second one begins when we realise that we only have one.
Beautiful.
Hi,
And would you mind just
hello, thank you. Talking about the missing link as in Syd's book, I'm a body work therapist, remedial massage, but my passion is cranial psychotherapy, which is a form of osteopathy. And I trained in this in 2016. And when I work cranially with people, I use the 3 principles in cranial work. Because for me it's about connecting the dots. It's not just mental and emotional, we're also physical and spiritual. And actually our bodies express every thought that goes through our heads. And talking about the missing link, I have a missing link book in my therapy room. And what's interesting is when I do cranial with people, I always get them to flick a page in Syd's book. But what's interesting about the book is that even though, I mean, it's not a big book, but every client thinks that they choose this page and they go, oh my God, that's just where I'm at. So every page, even though it talks about different things, everyone can relate to just like 2 pages of it, and they're having a session and they think, oh, that's exactly how I feel right now. And it's really interesting, where they could probably go another 10 pages and they'll say the same thing. And that's what I love about Syd's book and the simplicity of it. And even though we have mind, thought, consciousness, each patient, when I do cranial and the 3 Ps together with it, they make that connection no matter what page it is. So that's what I love about the missing link.
Okay, sorry, can I just build on that idea? It's really interesting idea.
Him again.
Sorry, I'll keep it really brief. Isn't that something about when we're in an expansive frame of mind and we're that much more open to connection? Everything is connected, and therefore your people could choose any page and they'd see and feel the connection.
Yeah.
Because of that expansion. That's
I have a question.
And maybe if I'll just comment, whether or not we're in an expansive state of mind, that energy is connected. That energy picks the page on that book, picks the statement.
Hence why they think it's
Right.
in relationship to
Yeah.
how they're thinking it.
Now, if you put in an awful lot of noisy thinking, then you will have some trouble getting to that page or looking at that statement, and it's like, well, that statement makes no sense given that I came in for blah, 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 right? Because I'm just listening to myself so much, right? So, but it's always operating anyway.
It would be interesting to get my clients to pick a page beforehand.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then pick a page up.
Love
That's my
it.
next mission.
Love it. Yeah.
Before and after.
I love it.
Yeah, thank you for that. And you know, I just want to give a different spin to it, because I've done that as well, where I've run groups and I thought, what does a group need? And I've scanned the missing link for what I thought was relevant and read it, and it dropped like a lead balloon. Dropped like a lead balloon. I was like, you know what, next time I just flipped and opened a page. And just like Dominic said, I opened the page and I read, and it was exactly what was needed for that time. And every time I do that, it works out right. And that's what I trust in that process now, to know that what is beyond me. It's beyond me. Even the flicking of the pages are beyond me. And just to know that it's expansive like that, and accepting that is how it goes on an everyday basis. And the more we trust in it, the more we see it come to fruition in all different forms. So yeah, I just want to concur that is actually a thing. And anybody want to try that? It works. Take care of it.
Okay, so I have a question. The thing I think is that do we miss the links when we try and be in the places where we don't belong?
Repeat the question.
So do we miss those links when we try and be on the places where we don't belong, when we try and be on everywhere, out of our energy, out of our reach? And then the mind becomes so busy that we forget what's the reason of us being here. So this is what came in my mind.
Yeah. So good news, you can relax. You will never be in a place you don't belong. Nice try. Nice try, but mind you cannot escape. You will never be in a place you don't belong, right? However, I relate to what you're saying. Because I'm lost in the, but this is different, and I need to figure this one out and whatever, and and mind's coming at me from 20 different ways, right? And I could storm out of the room, and then mind comes at me there, and I can be somewhere else, and mind comes at me there, always with exactly what I need in that situation, given where I'm at. At some point, I will tire myself out. Listen, this game only ends one way. Mind wins. Like, let's have no question about that. You will exhaust yourself before mind does. It's an internal, infinite, expanding energy. Your thinking will exhaust you. At some point, you give up. Mine does not. So, there is no losing. Did we have... Yeah, thank you.
No, I'm not going to speak.
We're going to have you do a breakout session. And I'm coming to it.
It'll be very short.
I just wanted to look at it slightly differently. So, I mean, it's kind of like a joke and an oxymoron, isn't it? There's missing links and a missing link. But what I would say is that we're taught that something is missing. We're taught for our belief system that something is missing. So when we're working, we're sent this image that something's wrong with us. So when we come back, so we're always looking. And so I work with a lot of young people from the care system, and I came out of the care system myself. So we were taught that we were broken, that there was something wrong. So we're always searching for something missing. And that's the joke of life, because nothing's missing. So when I got truly and wholly, I'm not a broken person, society might be sending me this message, but I'm whole, there's nothing missing. So the missing link, I'm the whole person here. That's it. And it's inside of me. What I'm looking for, I think it's a statement, is inside of me. So there's nothing missing. And so I always think that is the joke of life, because none of us are getting out alive. So we might as well just be whole, perfect, and enjoy ourselves and have a lot of fun.
Hallelujah.
To kind of respond to that quickly, I understand exactly what you're saying, Chrissy, because I'm coming from that same space where I believed I was broken and I was always searching for something outside of myself so hard and believed that whatever was out there for me was just around the corner waiting for me. And then when you realise that that was all a myth and you can tune in to the natural formless and see that everything is for me, even things that I believe ain't for me. So there is no missing link, there is no thing that is missing, it is in me and it will always be in me. But I can glimpse it in a minute and it looks missing. Something else comes in and I can't see it. I'm searching again. Then I could know that. Sorry, go on.
When I say it's very powerful when you're working with young people, I didn't understand it till I was 47. But imagine if you understood it when you were 14, 15, 16. You're not your circumstance. You're wholly perfect. So that's what's so powerful about understanding that about yourself.
And I think it's also knowing that we've all got these aspects, what we think when we have to search for things. But it's just knowing that whatever we're searching for, whatever we think is missing, is right in here. And we've all got our own different shapes and sizes and what that feels like and how we would articulate it. But it is in there. It is. Like I said, it's the game of life, it's the joke. None of us get out alive. And mind always wins.
Over there. And what's our time like, by the way? Does anybody... Anyone know how long this goes?
10 more minutes.
Okay, thank you. Maybe someone can.
We've been told that we self-regulate our own time.
Yeah.
So that's your
Hi, Alan.
Thanks for this conversation, and something's unfolding, and I'm just so grateful in the moment to hear what's going to happen, because when I circle it in my head, I don't, I get lost, obviously. So I'm having this awareness that because I've found more peace of mind and more peace of body, and I see how I got tripped up thinking that because I found something that I thought that I shouldn't have the human experience anymore. Like, I see that more clearly now. And I'm also seeing something about, in this infinite expansive space, it's not that it's missing, but there's still more, the infinite to see. It's not missing, but missing isn't the right word. I don't help, like. But on some level, it is the right word. They're hiding. Maybe it's not missing. There's more hiding. There's more hiding that I don't feel like will ever be revealed fully until my last breath or the end. Yeah, thank you for letting me.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
I'll just respond to that quickly. I think that's what you just said is beautiful, because when you said it's an unfolding, and it's not missing, but there's more to reveal. There's more to see of I'm much bigger than I thought I was, but I can only see past my arm. But I know the more I look, I might be able to see a bit further and a bit further. I know that I am expansive, proper expansive. So I just know that there's always more to reveal. And like I said, it's just beautiful to know that so much more depth, no matter what you see. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I wanted to respond to something you said, Dominic. Paraphrasing it, but mind will always have the last laugh. Mind will always win. I spent much of my life being very blessed and very in touch with a deeply spiritual life, if you like, but at some point along the way I lost the path a bit and kind of forgot that. In 2016, I had a near-death experience and found myself in a medically induced coma for 9 days. And I could talk for a long time about that and won't, but time allowing. But the point was that it was like the universe basically said, Ian, you will take notice, you're going to listen, we're going to put you in a coma for 9 days until you get the message. And it was as simple as that. I'd ignored it, I'd had lots of opportunities to listen, lots of, great things had happened, but it's like, no, you're going to go through this experience, which at the time, aspects of it felt like hell. I was in a coma for 9 days. You could say lucid dreaming. But it was a medically induced coma, having a nightmare, so I couldn't wake up, which is normally what happens when you're in a coma. And ultimately, it was a profound experience that changed my life. And I had to listen. But yeah, mind had the last laugh. It's like, and at the end of it, actually, I believe I had a choice. Do you want to come back to this reality and form? Or do you want to stay where you were? And believe me, at the time, that was very tempting when you're plugged into the formless, unconditionally loved, totally no cares in the world. But I made a choice to come back, and I'm glad I did. but it really touched me, just pointing out the simplicity that, you know, mind always knows what's in our higher interest. And even if you're as stubborn and pig-headed as I was for much of my life, it will show you the way.
Wow.
I'll let you respond to that, Dominic. I just want to say that since it's understanding that people can share stories, like going into a coma, and you can see pure love in that story, and you can see how the universe has conspired to put him in a better place. And before, I wouldn't have seen anything in that story except pain and problems and stress. But that is a beautiful story, and when we can see that for ourselves, and the most beautiful thing about that story is you have to see that. And when you see that, then you're free to experience and free to live your life the way, in a much better way. That when we notice the little signs that we've been given along the way, and we all get them in all directions, but the universe points us, and sometimes we don't listen, and it just says, now you're going to listen. And whatever the is what we need to make us listen. And for me, it was uncomfortable. A lot of the stuff I went through was uncomfortable. But one day I woke up and I saw it, and now I'm in this space where I can speak about that, not from a low, depressed space, but from a space of, anybody else who's in that position can maybe end up where I am one day. Or maybe someone in a coma could end up coming and saying, it was a good experience that happened to me and started life. So I love those stories. I love them. Thank you for sharing as well.
Thank you. Such a powerful story. And I'm sure to get to such a state with a coma, in a coma state like that, that there was likely a horrible experience that led to that place, right? What a blessing. What a blessing. Have any of you been fired from a job? What a blessing. What a blessing. Mind is at work. Have any of you had to go through bankruptcy? What a blessing. Mind is at work. Right? So not like a slogan, right? This gentleman does not have a slogan here, right? Things are always working out for you. When I say that mind wins, right? We have funny terms around winning and whatever. It is that things are only working out for you. Only working out for you, no matter what situation and condition that you are in, no matter what happens and how it seems to you. What a blessing. What a blessing it is, because you cannot escape the blessing, the well-being. That mind is flowing to you and through you. You are made of it. And it will find the path of least resistance. It will find the easiest path. The easiest path. You would never have traveled that kind of distance to that insight on an easier path than what you did. Because mind does not use a difficult path. It uses the path of least resistance. That was the path of least resistance to where you got. You would never have got there in this lifetime were it not for that. So how beautiful.
Sorry,
What a blessing.
can I challenge that?
I don't know that we're maxed out. So
I don't want to say it. No one's going to say
No.
where is
I think we can.
and during the break you absolutely can. All right, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.